creative living, utilizing today's technology with the best of the past to bring you innovative ideas and up-to-date information for creative lifestyles in today's active world. With your host, Sheryl Borden.
Thanks so much for joining me today for Creative Living. We're going to talk to a designer about the jewelry and handbags she designs. We'll learn how to use dominoes for making jewelry and other items, and show how to do t-shirt transfer art. One of my guests is Monica Duran, and she's an artist, designer, and model. Monica has created a collection of handcrafted leather purses and jewelry. These items all coordinate with her daughter's clothing designs, which she'll talk about. Her business is Monista Arts in Espanola, New Mexico. Another guest is Shannon Bilkey, and she's a designer and crafter from Payson, Arizona. Shannon will show how to use regular dominoes and a few simple craft products and turn them into jewelry, books, ornaments, and much more. Her business is called Shea & Company. My first guest is Diana Effner, and she's going to show some dolls wearing t-shirts and other garments that are decorated with transfer art. Diana will show how she uses various transfer sheets for these projects. She owns Expressions Incorporated in Jamestown, Missouri. Diana, thank you so much for being here. I know you've been creating beautiful dolls for 30-something years. You said you loved playing with dolls as a child, as most of us did. But you got into dressing them, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. But how did you decide that you wanted to work with the photo transfer art?
I just like trying different things with the doll costumes. It makes it more fun for people who make the dolls. We do molds for the hobbyists, and I wanted to create something that girls could do as well, you know, something simple. And these dolls were actually created as play dolls. I was commissioned to sculpt the originals, and then they are manufactured in vinyl. And
this was the first one, right?
This is Maru. She's the main character. There's a book that comes with the dolls.
Oh,
And then there's her friend Tanya and Jamie, and these two are more recent. This is Raven and Savannah, and they're friends.
I love their names.
There's a story about their friendship and how they met, and so I had the idea of having them model the t-shirts.
And like this one has this Friends Forever, which they all do, but you can see the different designs.
They're autographed. I drew the designs on the transfer paper. I found this transfer paper that was really soft and delicate.
And we'll
it would
show
be perfect
that in just
for
a
the
minute.
dolls, you know, because
and this
dolls
one
are
has
small.
a different design.
Right.
So all their friends designed,
and
signed them.
And they sign. You can sign when you iron that on. It makes the fabric just a little bit smoother, so that you can write on it or color on it or whatever. So I always imagine these stories about the dolls. You know, they're little girls, and there's this fad going on, and they all want to wear these.
And that's what the teenagers are doing, and the tweens as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this paper that you said you found that really works wonders.
This is what the paper looks like, and if you want to, you can create a design in the computer and print it onto the white side of the paper, or if you want to, you can actually, if you have a marker that's got the right kind of a soft tip on it, you can actually draw right on the paper. These designs were drawn right on the paper. If
and
you
of course, when it's words, you got to do it in the mirror image.
Right, and what I would do if it was words is I would draw it on the blue side.
Perfect.
And then use a window or a light box to outline it from the other side.
Okay, so after we've done that, you said we can draw on it, but we can also use stencils and
rubber stamps.
Rubber stamps.
Right. Would you like me to iron on that?
Let's show how we make this other one first.
All right. Okay, this one, you can see it's got the backward printing on it, and these are the markers that I like. Right. These are the markers I like to use because they come in
sort of a
light colors,
tip, aren't they?
And they have a brush tip. They've got two kinds of tips, so you can see that it goes on very smoothly.
They're very, very soft looking. So you actually stamped this on here, onto this paper, and just you're adding the color?
No, I didn't. This was printed from a computer, and my son created the design.
And then you
in
get
the
to
computer,
color it.
and then I just color it. And we do sell some of these little designs for
Separately.
doll makers to make T-shirts for their dolls.
Okay, and what about
So,
these?
well, this is just another technique you can use where you can take a rubber stamp and...
They look so little, but then we have to think about proportion for the dolls. We want something that's in the proportion of the dolls. Let's see.
Just a different way to, besides
And these
drawing
are-
and coloring.
The pads for fabric, paper, wood, and more. Okay.
Yeah, these are made for fabric and...
I've seen those in the craft shops. Okay. So after we would stamp the design that we want, then we're ready to iron this as well onto our little T-shirt or our little
Right.
garment.
Yeah, and the one over there is
This shows how tiny.
this one has a stamp design on it,
Oh, on her little
so you can see
dress.
how that looks.
And you can go so tiny. I was just looking at the size on this little.
Yeah,
Okay.
the detail is wonderful on the
They really are.
transfer paper.
Okay, and the
So-
iron, no steam, pretty hot, right?
Yeah, cotton,
Cotton setting.
your hot setting,
That's the little garment.
and you place it face down. Doesn't take very long, just even pressure,
And again, no steam. We just wanted hot cotton.
just heat.
And you could have gone ahead and placed all of them, but it's kind of like you said, it's kind of good to practice with the first one and just make
Sure everything is going to come out okay. Well, here it goes.
And then you peel it. Oh, perfect. Perfect the first time. You did great. Okay.
And these are some doodles that my sister drew last night.
So
It's gonna-
those of us who like to doodle, we could go ahead and continue with that. This was a design, we were saying too, besides for dolls, us big people might like to do this to make something to wear on our clothes.
Well,
And you
my,
said-
my sister designed this using a design from a coloring book and a website that has different fonts. And then my niece, her daughter, colored it. So I
That's
mean,
the
it's a
part I would
wonderful
like to
thing.
do.
Yeah.
And then after these are ironed on,
And that was ironed on.
do they need to be, can you go ahead and wash them later, or would you ever, if it's a
Right.
big people shirt?
Right. I think you need to make sure that your marker is something that's washable.
That's permanent.
The markers that we use are the Copic markers that we use are washable. So you might
Okay.
want to.
Well, whether it's
check
for
that.
little people or big people, we can enjoy doing this transfer art. Thank you so much for showing us how. Shannon, I was so excited that you were coming because I know you just sit around and come up with the most unique items to make and do.
Thank you.
You're called a mixed media artist. What does that
Yes.
really mean?
Mixed media is using just about any supplies you want with anything else you want to use.
And it's always multiples, isn't it?
It's always multiples, and it allows you to use bits and pieces of everything you have and not have to go out and buy supplies. Just use what you like, what you
Sorta
enjoy.
like we used to do as kids when we'd make things out of
Right.
whatever mom had available.
And that's when I started.
Is
and
that right?
It's never stopped.
Well, today we're talking about darling dominoes.
My darling dominoes,
I
yes.
just love that. Well, we'll just show, we can't, hopefully people can see this, and it's a little
It's
fan
a little
design, accordion
book,
folded.
and you can close it up and tie it up short. And I've always loved the miniatures.
Well, I do too.
And that, if you wanted to, and you
could
felt
tie it.
compelled, you could tie it up and have your little mini. People would have to look at it and say, what is that? And if you see, I've used buttons, and I've used a little bit of glitter and glue-on and a little stitch of paper.
Lots of, all those little pieces from scrapbooking
Right.
that we save. And
We try not to save too many because you can make too many things. There's just too much to do.
too much and so little time. I
Right.
love this necklace.
Well, that's just, thank you. I took it from, it's a domino which is my favorite these days because it's miniature too, and you can do so many things to it. We alcohol inked it. I took a little clip of some ephemera and I inked it and glued it down, and I used a little bead and another little bead there, and I wired it and little bits of chain and a couple charms, and then I found some bits and pieces of necklaces here and there. I go to a lot of thrift stores.
I bet you do.
And you can find wonderful things without having to spend a lot of money.
And you look at things totally different, don't you?
I do.
Somebody might look at this and say, oh, that's an old chain.
Right.
You immediately...
And that is 2 or 3 different chains put together because, you know...
This looks like a little book.
It is a little book. I use my handy-dandy Dremel saw to drill the holes in these.
I wondered how you got that in there.
Yeah, and it works beautifully. And then I just made a little tiny signature, which is 1 set of pages in a book. Little teeny tiny signature, and I inked it, and I stamped it a little bit.
Oh, and look, you can see the inside of the domino. You color coordinated them.
Oh,
the blues.
And then you have to find something tiny to tie it up with. Well, I like the rustic look, so that worked really well for me, the little jute.
Okay.
And then you have your miniature artwork to go along with my favorite miniatures. Yeah, and I drilled some holes, and what that was originally it was drilled like this with a number of holes in it because I was making Christmas ornaments, which I forgot to bring, and they're lovely, by the way.
But that's a good idea.
Yes, and you wire it, and with your wire you have the random freedom of wiring it the way you want, putting the beads in it the way you want. But before I would do that, I would alcohol ink it.
Okay, and
alcohol ink will stay on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. This is alcohol ink. There's a lot of different ones out there, and what it does is it dries quickly, but it also stays on the surface.
Oh, and you don't have to put a top coat like a poly something, a clear color to seal it.
No, and I just use an old napkin. You could buy all these fancy supplies, but you just put a little bit in.
And it doesn't take much, does it?
No, and then you dab it. You dab it, and then you smear it. And see, I do it lightly. If you would like to, you could put it right on like this and then start smearing. And as with the domino, it doesn't really take up a lot, but once it starts to dry, you can put little edges in. See how you let it dry there a little bit. Then you work with the surface and see how it's modeled. It kind of, I go with that. This is a gold, which when this dries, I dab it on, blends right in with the different colors.
Is this the gold?
That's the gold and the green and a few dabs of the red.
And did you use a stencil to do this, or did you
this is a stamp, and then it's embossed.
Oh, okay.
So there's so many things. You can do rub-ons. You can do stick-ons of bling. Those are pearls. You can do just about anything that suits you. For the Christmas ornaments, I cut up old Christmas cards.
Oh, and I save those every year.
Yes, and you use such tiny bits that you don't even feel satisfied that you saved them because you should be able to use them more, you know. But then you can put them on with Mod Podge, but you would put it on after it's got the
after you've done your ink.
Right, and then I tend to go back and edge the pieces a little bit so that they have a totally finished look. And this would be, I think this was going to be an ornament without the hole, so I would have to find some more metal pieces at a thrift store.
Do you, you even painted on this side.
Yes.
Do you ever cover these little guys up, or do you tend to leave those
I
so
tend
it
to
looks...
leave them because with the mixed media, it's kind of the freedom of kind of letting it go. If you kind of like it, go with it. You know, you don't have to finish everything. I need to finish things. That's why I did the back, but I think this back is finished enough. It's got the gold finish. Nothing looks...
It ties in with the rest of it.
Nothing looks unfinished. But mixed media, you can go, you start with some supplies. You never know where you're going to end up. And where you end up is fine, usually. Where you end up, you're going, oh, that's great. I'm going to make something else, but it's not going to be the same.
Well, and that's why those of us who sew save every scrap of rickrack and every piece of lace or whatever.
Right, and then you use it with this.
And if you scrapbook, you've got all of these. This is a great way to use up things, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, this is cute. I hadn't thought about using dominoes, so I'm going to try that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Monica, it's such a pleasure to have you here. You are actually so multi-talented that I hardly know where to start. You're an artist. You paint in various mediums. You design jewelry, and that's what we're going to concentrate on, jewelry and handbags and accessories today. But let's go back just a little bit, and you didn't grow up to do this. You went to college, you got a degree, but in something totally different. But tell us a little bit about your background and then how that college degree has helped you in such a different field.
Well, yes, I went to school for, I have a degree as an architect, interior designer. I've always been very creative all my life. And so from the art, it kind of birthed into a different, that I wanted to do something else, because me and my daughter collaborate as well with fashion design. So I had an idea to actually make the accessories and the bags for the models.
For her designs.
For her designs.
Oh, I see.
And so that's how this came about.
You've had an illness that you fought, breast cancer. You're in remission. But the things that you do, I believe if I understand this right, reflect how you would like for people to see how you fought this disease and how you hope to inspire other women to not give up. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, Cheryl, I did go into remission from breast cancer. Right now I have a terminal cancer due to exposure of copper. It's terminal, and I live with 16 autoimmune diseases. So my life is not very easy, I would, say. But I choose to be a beacon of light. I choose to inspire other women. If it's one thing that I do or one thing that I say or one bracelet that they pick up and read my story, that's the first thing I always say is please read my story.
So does a story come with each piece?
Yeah.
Oh, how unique. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the jewelry first. And you said your daughter designs fashion, so many of these complement her fashions, but certainly could be for others of us.
Yeah.
Tell me what materials you like to work with and what inspires you to do this.
They're all leather. Everything that I work with is leather. This is lambskin leather.
It's soft, isn't it?
It's very soft, and they're all Swarovski crystals. Everything is like I say, is made out of leather. Different designs, because I feel that every individual woman is different, and so they're not only to go along with her collection. I make them and sell them as well. This one's very different.
And that's a leather as well. It's a
Yeah, that's actually a
different surface.
It's a shark.
Shark.
Yeah. And so I just design different bracelets. The ideas come to me very easily, just very creative. I hand make everything myself. And so days are hard when I can't move my hands or different things, but everything is made by me.
And you said when you really started, it would be at night you would see images of things either that inspired you or would help you to wake up the next morning in a more positive manner. And then how did you turn those images into some of your works of art?
That became part of the nightly, this became part of the nightly images as well.
So it was like therapy for you?
Yes, it's all like a therapy for me. Instead of, because when you're in chronic pain, Cheryl, it's very hard to sleep. So some nights I stay up till the very next morning. So I just decided with my time to think of other things. And that's how all of this has been birthed. So what you see, I usually do in the middle of the night, in the morning time.
That's amazing to me. Well, so we go from jewelry and working in leathers. This is just one of your handbags. What type of leather is this one?
That's lambskin leather.
I thought so because it's so soft. Okay. And then the fringe.
Yeah, it's all leather.
Very small, and of course, being on the runway when you're showing these with fashions, you do want them light and fluid, I'm sure. Shoulder bags, crossbody bags.
Yeah, crossbody, and a lot of women, you know, if you're going out somewhere and you just want to have a compact and a
Car key or something.
Keys, your wallet, these are easily to fit in.
And this is another homemade one. It's sort of an asymmetrical design across the front. This one's my favorite, I have to tell you. I just love this. I think because of, and what is this exactly?
It's a special material that I've come out with. This is actually my signature purse.
It's very soft, very, very fluid.
Yes. And that also has Swarovski crystals on it.
I noticed that, the red.
Yeah. That's my signature piece.
I can see why it would be. Another crossbody.
Yeah, another crossbody.
The roses and the skulls, that seems to be sort of a not really a fad because it's been around a long time, but it's very eye-catching.
Yeah, the younger generation. I also thought of the younger generation when I was developing the collection. So that is kind of where that came from.
Oh my gosh, this is so soft. It's like picking up air.
Yeah.
And these crystals along here.
Yeah, all crystals.
And just a piece of the same design. Let me show that. That's really beautiful. And is this the lambskin as well?
No.
It's very soft. And you use the chains a lot for the handles.
Yeah, I use different, as you can see, different.
This one's me. I like this one. Big enough to hold everything, but very shapely, very elegant looking, not slouchy.
That's what I was going for, the look.
And this one, you put a different type of design. This is a fabric on the front of this one as an accent piece.
Yes.
And you hope to, of course, sell these, but you really are doing all of this as part of your therapy to help other people, and I think that's just amazing.
Yes, yes. It's you know, when I do get to talk to somebody, I do my best to try to tell them how this came about. It's really important to me. And yeah, they will get a postcard with my story on the back of it, leading to my websites, to articles about me, everything, you know. But at the end of the day, Sheryl, it's all about to inspire other women that are sick, or other women that feel like their life was taken, like I did at one point. And
isn't that one of the stages of grief, though? Blame and
anger.
So that's,
Yeah, there was a lot of emotions, and so this reflects the birthing of it. And but as you see, a lot of beauty came from it as well. And so that's what I choose to be, is a beacon of light and to inspire other women. And that's what it's about.
And I think you brought up the key point, the choice. We have a choice of how, you know, the full glass, the half empty glass, half full glass, and you've certainly chosen to share your talents with other people. And we might mention too, I failed to say in the beginning, not only do you design all these things, you do runway modeling, you're into acting. I guess every day you come up with something else that it not only inspires you, but others.
Yes, yes.
Well, I appreciate you being here so much. It's really nice to meet you.
Thank you, Sheryl. Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed the show today. Next time on Creative Living, we'll learn how to use a new template to create blocks for a cathedral window quilt, which is so popular with quilters. And we'll demonstrate some delicious country desserts too. One of my next guests has come up with a great tool for quilters. It's a 9-inch seam pressing template that guarantees perfect corners every time. It is designed for seam pressing only, and you only use a dry setting, not steam setting on the iron. She'll demonstrate how to use it while making a cathedral window quilt block. This is such a beautiful quilt pattern, but sometimes it's hard to get sharp corners throughout the quilt. Another guest is with the Home Baking Association, and she loves to talk about family traditions and recipes that can be shared and passed down from generation to generation. She'll demonstrate a favorite from her newest cookbook, Baking with Friends. I hope you'll plan to join me next time for Creative Living.
We are very pleased to offer a special booklet that accompanies this series of Creative Living. We are celebrating our 40th year on PBS. This booklet is titled the 40th Anniversary Series, and it features a wonderful collection of ideas and information, and it's available free of charge on our website. Posted as a PDF file, you can simply download the entire booklet or just the segments you're most interested in. For your copy of this commemorative booklet, go to our website at kenw.org and then click on Creative Living. Scroll down to the booklet section and you can click on this booklet or on any of the other booklets we have available online. We would like to invite you to sign up for our free e-newsletter too. Go to kenw.org and click on the Sign Up Now button and input your email address. That's all there is to it. We would also like to ask you to become a fan of Creative Living on Facebook. Go to facebook.com and in the search window type in Creative Living with Sheryl Borden. Thanks so much. We look forward to hearing from you.